जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna. We will continue our discussion on Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. We completed 3 chapters of Madhyalila in the last session. Today we will begin the 4th chapter of Madhyalila. In the first 3 chapters of Madhyalila, we have seen Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu just took sannyas and he wanted to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu intervened and diverted Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Shantipur. So Mahaprabhu went to Shantipur and he met Advaitacharya, Sachi Mata, Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, Chandrasekhar and many other such exalted devotees of Navadvip. And he had spent about 10 days there, and he also met Sachi Mata. So Sachi Mata was overwhelmed with love and affection for her Nimai, who now appeared without hairs. And Sachi Mata volunteered to cook for Nimai as long as he stays in Advaitacharya's house. Then Sachi Mata said that if Nimai stays at home, I'll be very happy. But because he has taken sannyas, people might criticize Nimai for staying at home. So Sachi Mata said that would be the cause of my great unhappiness. So I will suggest that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu stays in Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath Puri and Bengal are like 2 rooms in the same house. Devotees from Bengal will go to Jagannath Puri to take Jagannath Darshan, and people in Jagannath Puri would come to Bengal to take bath in Ganges River. Thus we keep hearing about the welfare and the activities of Lord Caitanya if he stays in Jagannath Puri. So she decides that Mahaprabhu stays in Jagannath Puri. So Sachi Mata, when she decided like that, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu agreed, and he instructed all the devotees to go back to their homes and do Krishna Nam, Krishna Aradhan and Krishna Sankirtan and Krishna Sevan. And Mahaprabhu proceeded to Jagannath Puri. And Mahaprabhu was accompanied by Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda. So 4 devotees were accompanying Lord Caitanya. And Advaitacharya was also overwhelmed with feelings of love and affection and separation from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu proceeded. And he also exhibited indifference, nirapeksha, and independence, Swachhanda, when he went to Jagannath Puri. So because as an exemplary renunciant, he wanted to be apparently indifferent to material relationships and all that. Okay, although the relationships that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu had with all the Navadvipasis were not at all material. Many of them are very exalted devotees and some are eternal associates of Lord Caitanya also. We discussed all these things elaborately in the previous session. So today we will continue from where we left in the previous session. So today we will be discussing 4th, 5th and 6th chapters, 3 chapters mostly. And these 3 chapters describe Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's travel from Shantipur to Jagannath Puri. So on the way to Jagannath Puri, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Remuna, and there he discusses Madhavendra Puri's episode. That's the subject matter, 4th chapter. And the party of Mahaprabhu, including Jagadananda, Nityananda, Damodar, Mukunda, they go to Sakshi Gopal temple. There Nityananda Prabhu discusses the Sakshi Gopal pastime with that young Brahmana and old Brahmana. So that is there in the 5th chapter. And Nityananda Prabhu breaks the danda of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and throws in that river. So that is called Danda Bhanga Leela. So after that Leela, Mahaprabhu becomes little upset and then he proceeds to Jagannath Puri alone. and Nityananda Prabhu and all the other devotees will just follow Lord Chaitanya behind. So Mahaprabhu alone goes to Jagannath Puri, and there Mahaprabhu sees Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Actually, Mahaprabhu faints in ecstasy when he reaches Jagannath Puri temple. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya picks him up and then takes him to his house, and the whole transformation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya into a Vaishnava is described in the 6th chapter. So these 3 chapters we'll try to see today. So let's begin with the 4th chapter. So 4th chapter is entitled Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. So now in the beginning of the chapter, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his respectful obeisances to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Vrindavan Das Thakur. Okay. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes he is describing, sannyas pastimes, and he says that the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu are extremely sweet. Sahaje vichitra madhura Caitanya vihar Vrindavana dasa mukhe amritera dhar. So Sahaje, naturally, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are madhura, very sweet. And Vrindavana dasa mukhe amritera dhar. And from the mouth of Vrindavan Das Thakur, they appear like shower of nectar. So Lord Chaitanya went to Jagannath Puri and visited Jagannath temple, and that journey is such a nectarian incident in Mahaprabhu's life. So Kaviraj Goswami very humbly says that Vrindavan Das Thakur can describe them very nicely, but I am just being very proud in repeating the incidents described by Vrindavan Das. Okay, actually don't have the power to describe the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So in this way, Kaviraj Goswami, in several contexts, he glorifies Vrindavan Das Thakur as the real reciter of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and he expresses his humility. Okay. And now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu proceeds, right? He proceeds towards Puri along with 4 other devotees, and while going, he would chant the holy names of Krishna with great eagerness. That's the purpose for which Lord Chaitanya descended. One thing, while chanting the holy names, he is experiencing ecstasy of Krishna Prema in the mode of being a devotee. And by doing so, he is preaching the glories of holy name to all of us. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the holy names of Krishna, and each day he would personally go to different villages on the way, and he would collect grains. So imagine, from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, these devotees are traveling alone, traveling on foot. Okay, no vehicles there. So he would collect grains personally, and he would prepare prasad, and there are many other tax collectors on the way. So somehow Mahaprabhu reached all of them, and he even showed his mercy on tax collectors also and transformed them into devotees, and he finally reached Remuna. So now when he went to Remuna, in Remuna there is a beautiful Gopinathji temple, and Mahaprabhu went in front of Gopinathji deity and then wanted to take darshan, and he offered obeisances, and the crown of flowers on Gopinathji's head fell on the head of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, it's a very special blessing. So Mahaprabhu was very pleased, and he danced and chanted with all the devotees, and all the priests, pujaris in this temple, they wondered, my God, Mahaprabhu is so powerful. Gopinathji gave blessings to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord remained there, and he was very eager to taste some Mahaprasad kheer, okay, sweet rice, offered to Gopinath. So because he has heard about this special kheer offered to Gopinath at Ramana from his spiritual master Ishwarapuri. So Ishwarapuri told him about Kheer Chor Gopinath. So that kheer is special, and that Lord is special because he has stolen that kheer, not for himself. Anyways, he is being royally offered all that kheer. So, but Gopinathji had to steal that kheer for his devotee called Madhavendra Puri. So now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu remembers that special story, and he narrates that story of Kirchad Gopinath to all the devotees there, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. It's very important phenomena in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You don't find in Chaitanya Charitamrita Mahaprabhu or his devotees discussing Krishna Katha in very big public events or forums, right? With a sound system, with some amplifier, with 1,000 people sitting in front. They don't give Zoom classes also. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sits with few other devotees, maybe 3-4 people, 5 people, or sometimes only one person. He would sit with them and then discuss Krishna Katha. So Bhagavatam says, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantah Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Charamanti Cha. This is spoken in Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam says, Parasparanu Kathanam Pavanam Bhagavad Yashah Mithoratihi Mitha Tushtir Nivrittir Mitha Atmanaha. Paraspara Anukathanam means devotees gather together and discuss about Krishna with amongst themselves, and they derive so much of happiness and ecstasy in doing so. So parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavadyashaha. So it's not mentioned in this slokas that devotees gather, devotees address an assembly of people. It's not just public doing doing Krishna Katha in a public manner, right? On a mass scale. It's like even one-to-one discussions also, right? So Krishna Katha need not be restricted to giving public lectures. We need to bring in Krishna Katha in our private conversations also. Even when we meet other devotees, it could be casual talks, right? But we can discuss about Krishna's qualities, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, what we studied in Bhagavatam, what service we have done. Of course, we do. We discuss a lot about Krishna's seva. What services we discuss with other devotees, but if we can also discuss the glories of Krishna with other devotees, that's an amazing way of leading a Krishna conscious life, right? So Mahaprabhu just sits with Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda, maybe a few other devotees were also there, right? So Mahaprabhu starts discussing about Madhavendra Puri's pastime. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses that Madhavendra Puri pastime. And in that pastime, he says that Madhavendra Puri has installed a deity of Gopal on Govardhan, right? So now Madhavendra Puri was a mendicant. He was like a sannyasi. He wanders from one place to another place, right? One day he came to Govardhan area. He just sat under a tree. He was chanting the holy names of Krishna, and at that time, one small boy, cowhead boy, came there. You see this picture? So it's Krishna only who came in the form of a cowhead boy. Of course, Krishna is originally cowhead boy only, but in this pastime, he appears in the form of a cowhead boy and comes to Madhavendra Puri with a pot of milk. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking this pastime to all the devotees. So he came with a pot of milk and smilingly addressed Madhavendra Puri. Oh Puri, please drink this milk. Why don't you beg some food and eat? What kind of meditation are you doing? What kind of austerity are you doing? So Madhavendra Puri was so satisfied to see the beauty of this little boy. And how does he know that I am fasting? So Madhavendra Puri immediately asked this boy, who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I am fasting? And the boy said, I am a Gopa. I am residing in this village. So here nobody fasts. So people can beg and eat. So some people drink only milk. But if a person doesn't ask for food, you know what I do? I supply him all eatables. So the woman who came nearby to fetch some water from a well, they saw you, sannyasi, sitting under a tree, not eating anything, not begging from anyone. So they gave me this pot of milk. Just drink this milk. I will come back after some time to take this pot from you. So I have my cows waiting here. So the boy just left. So the boy wouldn't return. Okay, although Madhavendra Puri drank that milk very gratefully, and he washed the pot, and he looked, where is the boy? He said he will come, and he did not come. And Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat there and then chanted. So whole night passed, and somehow at the end of the night he dozed a little bit. And in the dozing, his external activity stopped, and internally his meditation on Krishna began. Okay, so he had a dream. So he saw that very boy, that small boy, in his dream, and that boy was holding this Madhavendra Puri's hand and took Madhavendra Puri into a bush, right? And he said that I reside in this bush and I suffer severe heat, severe cold, severe rain showers and winds and scorching sun. So can you please bring all the village people and then take me out and please construct a temple on that hill and install me there. So then you wash me with huge quantities of water, and I was waiting for you. When will Madhavendra Puri come here? So Krishna told him like that. So I have accepted your service due to ecstatic love for me. So then Madhavendra Puri was very astonished. So why did Gopalji deity manifest there? Because he was actually installed in Vrindavan and he's the authority. The boy said that when Muslims attacked, the priest who was serving me just hid me in these bushes and ran away out of fear. So it's very good that you have come now. Please restart my worship. So this is the dream, special dream that Madhavendra Puri had, first dream that he had. So then Madhavendra Puri realized that boy who came to give me milk was actually Krishna. And although Krishna came right in front of me, I could not notice him. I could not recognize him. But anyways, he gave me a great service. I must do this service. So Madhavendra Puri went outside and then he announced to all the villagers. All the villagers came there. They came there and assisted Madhavendra Puri in excavating this deity. So they trusted Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri was such a trustworthy sannyasi that although he was a stranger to many of the people there, they just believed, oh, this sadhu is saying it must be true. And they all came with all their instruments and excavated Gopalji deity. So then they cleaned the deity from all the dirt, and some strong men carried the deity on the hill, and there was no altar, there was no temple. You know what they did? They took one big stone and made it like a throne, and they took another stone slab and kept it behind as a support, and Gopalji deity was installed there. That's the Vedi, that's the altar for Gopalji. And the Brahmana priests came there from the village with 900 pots of water, and they bathed this Gopalji deity from the water from Govinda Kund. And there was music and singing and dancing and milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and like that so many foods were offered to the deity. And Madhavendra Puri began the Abhishek ceremony. So he was bathing the milk with Panchagavya, bathing the deity with Panchagavya. Panchagavya means milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. And he was also bathing the deity with Panchamrita, means yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar water. So he did Mahasnan, a great bath with ghee and water. And he also massaged the body of Gopalji with scented oil. So all these things, upacharas, we do during our festival abhisheks to our deities. So also Gopalji was very nicely dressed and decorated with so many ornaments, and bhoga offering was done and arti was performed. And several villagers came there, and then they brought their entire stock of grains and rice and dal and wheat flour, and nice Annakota ceremony was performed. Okay. And there were 10 Brahmanas who cooked grains. And like that, Kaviraj Goswami gives a very long description of the items made as an offering to Gopalji. And it's a very tasteful arrangement. Cooked rice was stacked on palatial leaves, and new cloths were spread over the ground, and pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, shrikhand, sweet rice, cream, all these things are kept. And Gopalji ate everything. So this entire festival of deity installation and Annakut ceremony and clothing, ornaments, everything, all the festivals all the celebration has happened in one day. So that night he had dream. He just got up from the dream, excavated the deity, and did the installation. Temple was inaugurated. The previous day nothing was there. Today a big Anakut ceremony was there for this Gopalji. Okay. So Yadyapi Gopala Sabha Annavyanjana Khailam Tarahasta Sparshe Punaha Timani Hailam. Although Gopalji ate all the bhoga offered to him, he manifested everything in front of the deity, devotees. So just like in Annakota ceremony in Govardhan, Giriraj ate everything and he again manifested all that as Mahaprasad. This is called transcendental eating. So food offered to the deities acquires a transcendental quality. So it's qualitatively as good as Krishna. Krishna Prasadam and Krishna are non-different. Krishna can eat food with his eyes also. One may say, we kept food in front of the deity and nothing got reduced, and you are all claiming that Krishna ate it. No, Krishna can eat with his eyes also. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. So Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Every limb of Krishna's body can do the activity of other limbs. Okay. So in this way, Madhavendra Puri organized this festival, and Madhavendra Puri could perceive that Gopalji ate everything and the food remained the same also. Okay. Iha anubhava kaila Madhava Gosai Tara Thai Gopalera Lukhai Kichunai. So Madhava Gosai means Madhavendra Puri. He could understand that Gopalji ate everything, because nothing remains as a secret to devotees. The Lord may do so many things, but the devotees can easily understand the activities of the Lord. Okay. So now this is Gopalji's potency, because in one day this such great transcendental celebration happened. So now Kaviraj Goswami says, Eka dinera udyoge aicha mahotsava kaila Gopala prabhave haya anyana janila. So Eka dinera udyoge aicha mahotsava kaila. Within one day, such a great festival was organized. Gopala Prabhave, everything happened by Gopala Prabhava, by the mercy, by the influence of Lord Gopal. Okay. Anyana Janila, we don't know anything else, because we need to be convinced that we are just instruments in Krishna's hands. If we have faith and devotion in Krishna, we will understand that everything is happening by Krishna's grace. Otherwise, we think we are the doers, we are the masters, we are the controllers, we are the proprietors, we are the enjoyers, we are the creators. I did everything with my Kriya Shakti. I'm very resourceful. So people may have these kinds of misconceptions of being doers of all their activities. They don't have sufficient faith and devotion to Krishna. Everything happens by Krishna's grace. There is no question of estimating how things happen in a mundane sense. If we are sincere, Krishna will always bless us. And devotees must always desire to remain in the company of devotees, other devotees, and try to serve Krishna, right? Then Krishna will take care of everything. So after this whole festival, Madhavendra Puri did Achaman and did the resting service of Gopalji, Shaina Seva. And then he distributed prasadam to all the devotees who gathered there. And people were struck with wonder. Who is this saint, Madhavendra Puri? He has installed Krishna. He brought Krishna into our lives. Now that we have a temple, we have a deity, and we can offer Anakota ceremony to him, to Krishna every day. So then Madhavendra Puri initiated the Brahmanas there into Vaishnava cult, and he engaged all these Brahmanas in different types of service. So this is how deity worship is the center of all the activities in a spiritual community. Although Yuga Dharma is chanting the holy names of Krishna, still deities have a role to play in our spiritual advancement. So Rupa Goswami says there are 5 potent forms of devotional service, of which deity worship is one. So one is Bhagavatam Shravanam, means hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, then chanting the holy names, and Vaishnava Seva, deity worship, and also staying in a dham. These are the 5 potent forms of devotional service. Rupa Goswami says that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So deity worship is also recommended for our spiritual advancement. Of course, there are so many rules and regulations, offenses involved, so many things are there. Holy name is much easier, easier limb of devotional service to take shelter of. But deity worship can definitely make a connection between us and Krishna, and we get an opportunity to see Krishna as a person, right? So now when Krishna is being offered so much of bhoga, so many hundreds of items, and he was being royally worshipped like a king, so many expensive outfits for him, so much jewelry for him. So by seeing all that, we understand Krishna's grandeur, Krishna's majesty, Krishna's godhood. So it's a very wonderful opportunity for us to worship the deities. So even though Brahmana may be very expert and qualified, he cannot become a priest of a Vishnu deity or Krishna deity unless he is initiated by a Vaishnava. So Madhavendra Puri converted the Brahmanas into Vaishnavas and then engaged them in deity worship, right? So then daily worship was inaugurated by different villagers. Madhavendra Puri established the standards for deity worship there, and the deity services began right from the next day. All kinds of food were offered to the deities, to Gopalji deity. So, and this whole thing happened near Govardhan in Vrindavan area. So, very nice shloka, Kaviraj Goswami says, 1 minute, I will. So, Madhavendra Puri built also a nice temple with the help of a rich Kshatriya. Okay. So, this is the shloka that I wanted to say. Vrajavasi lokera Krishna sahaja piriti, Gopalera sahaja priti, Vrajavasi prati. So, Vrajavasi love Krishna so much, and it is very sahaja, very natural for them. The love that the Vrajavasis had for Krishna is very spontaneous and natural. And Gopalera sahaja priti Vrajavasi prati, and even Gopal also had a very natural and spontaneous affection and love for all the Vrajavasis. So, if you want to see an display of pure divine spiritual love, we must see Vrajavasis, right, and Krishna. That's the greatest love possible. So there's a responsive cooperation between Krishna and his devotees. The more a devotee sincerely loves Krishna and does his service, the more Krishna reciprocates, right? So the service of all the Vrajavasis is so sincere. Similarly, Krishna's reciprocation with them is also equally sincere, in fact, more, right? So throngs of people came from different villages and took Mahaprasad, and several other people also gathered there and begged Madhavendra Puri for opportunities to perform Annakuta ceremony from their village side. Okay. So some rich people donated so many things like that. Several garments and gold and silver and articles and eatables were arranged for Gopalji by nearby villages. So one deity can create so much of service engagement for hundreds and thousands of people. Okay. So all of them can make tremendous amount of spiritual advancement by making that one deity as the center of all one's spiritual activities, right? So one rich Kshatriya also constructed a temple. Prabhupada says that this is a spiritual community. The deity should be installed and everyone should help to construct the temple and increase the property of temple and help in prasadam distribution and preach the whole process of bhakti yoga, and people can practically perform devotional service to the deities, right? So now two renounced Bengali Brahmanas arrived from Vrindavan and Madhavendra Puri, initiated them in deity worship, and they all engaged in deity service. So now at this stage, Madhavendra Puri had a second dream. Okay. So Gopalji appeared in the dream of Madhavendra Puri and said that my body temperature has still not decreased. Can you please bring sandalwood from Malaya province? Okay. After making all arrangements for regular deity worship at Vrindavan, Madhavendra Puri went towards Jagannath Puri to bring this sandalwood asked by Gopalji. So now you see Madhavendra Puri, by the time already 2 years of worship has happened. Okay. So Madhavendra Puri did not feel this as a burden. Oh, again, I have to walk all the way to Jagannath Puri and get the chandan from there alone. He doesn't have any shipping services also. Okay. So he traveled alone. So on the way, Madhavendra Puri arrived at Advaitacharya's house in Shantipur. There he initiated Advaitacharya. Okay. After initiating Advaitacharya, Madhavendra Puri went to Jagannath Puri. Okay. So now Madhavendra Puri visited Ramana on the way, and he was overwhelmed to see the beauty of Gopinathji deity, and he chanted and danced in the temple corridor, and he inquired about foods offered to Gopinathji deity from the Brahmana priest. Yeah. We can call it also. So Madhavendra Puri visited Ramana. So at Ramana, there was a special offering, a special kheer, Amritakeli kheer, which is being offered to the deity there, Kirchor, Gopinath there. So Madhavendra Puri desired to eat that little sweet rice, so that he can make similar sweet rice to Gopalji. That was his intention. Madhavendra Puri never had an intention to enjoy that sweet rice. He was not even begging food also in Vrindavan. So Krishna had to come with a milk pot and give him. So, and now Gopalji gave him milk pot. Gopinathji gave him sweet rice pot. Okay. Amritakeli sweet rice pot by stealing. Okay. So there Gopalji was lying. So he spoke lies. He said that this is brought by some ladies there. Okay, he only came. So then Madhavendra Puri felt that I want to eat that sweet rice so that I can make similar sweet rice and offer it to Gopalji. Okay. So then you see, Madhavendra Puri must be a really expert cook, probably. Okay. So just by eating the sweet rice, you can understand the recipe and then replicate it there. He was aspiring to eat the Amritakeli and not ask for the recipe of it. Okay, probably. So now Madhavendra Puri became a little ashamed. Now the sweet rice was being offered to Gopinathji, and I'm desiring to taste it. This is such a sinful desire that I have. So he felt very ashamed, and Madhavendra Puri, he offered obeisances to the deity, and immediately after the arti was over, he just ran away from there. He did not stay there because he felt that he offended the Lord. Okay. Then ayachita vritti, he has a ayachita vritti, means he doesn't beg. He just avoided begging, and he sat in one marketplace and he wanted to spend that night there. So Madhavendra Puri avoided begging, and he sat in a marketplace and he was doing his bhajan, right? So here Kaviraj Goswami says that Madhavendra Puri was premamrite tripta. He is always satisfied in relishing the love of Krishna. Okay. He's although people may say different things, it's not applicable to Madhavendra. He doesn't pay much heed to people's words. He is just focused on Krishna prema, and also Madhavendra Puri is satisfied in loving Krishna and receiving the love of Krishna. When the heart is fulfilled with love for the Lord, one doesn't hanker for any praise from outside, any recognition from outside. So that we are going to see in Madhavendra Puri's behavior now. So now he went to a marketplace and sat there, and he was chanting on his beads. And meanwhile, the priest of Gopinathji deity got another dream. Now here is a series of dreams here. Madhavendra Puri already had 2 dreams. Now the priest had a dream. Madhavendra Puri will have another dream later. Okay. So priest had a dream. What was that? Gopinathji deity came in the priest's dream and said that I have kept one pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri, you go and give him. And he was astonished. He got up from his sleep and he took a bath before entering the temple. And you see in this picture, Madhavendra Puri, Gopinathji kept this sweet rice behind his Uttriyam maybe. And this Pujari got up from his sleep and saw this sweet rice. He was astonished. My God, the Lord has stolen this sweet rice for his devotee. He was astonished. He was astonished, but he did not feel envious. So sometimes when our consciousness is not proper, when we hear that another devotee is more successful in bhakti, when we hear that another devotee got more blessings, we might feel jealous, we might feel envious, right? So it's easy to show some sympathy or compassion on people who are undergoing some suffering, who are not in a very good condition. Okay, so it's easy to show sympathy on such people, but it is extremely difficult to celebrate others' success. So now here Gopinathji Pujari did not think that, oh, I have been serving Gopinathji since several years. He never stole sweet rice for me even once. And here is one visitor came from somewhere. How is he so exalted? And he is getting so much of attention from Gopinathji. So he, like this Pujari was not thinking like that. He very honestly followed the Lord's order because the Lord is giving him that mercy. Who am I to block that mercy? So he came and then picked up that sweet rice and then he went outside to search for Madhavendra Puri. In the middle of the night, he was searching everywhere. Where is Madhavendra Puri? Where is Madhavendra Puri? Gopinathji has stolen the sweet rice for you. So that requires so much of appreciation for other devotees. And heart should be filled with non-enviousness. Then only one will be able to do that. And this non-envy is an important quality that all devotees have to cultivate. And non-envy is the qualification to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, to receive the knowledge of Bhagavata. Why did Krishna teach Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. Okay, that is knowledge of Bhagavad Gita coming in parampara. And Krishna gives that transcendental knowledge to our Arjuna because idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyavi. My dear Arjuna, I am giving this knowledge to you because you are anasuyave. You have absolutely no envy in your heart. Non-enviousness is the qualification for a devotee to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And dharma projita kaitavotra parabho nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon. So nirmatsaranam satam vedyam means non-envious, pure-hearted devotees can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Non-envy is the quality to understand Gita. Non-envy is the quality to understand Bhagavatam also. So here this Pujari, although he's playing a small role in this whole pastime, and this pastime is glorification of Madhavendra Puri, we need to meditate on such characters who are less spoken. Dhruva was spoken so much. Dhruva was spoken about so much. Many people glorify Dhruva, but the person behind the success of Dhruva was Suniti. She's the one who inspired, right? So we should not be missing to understand the glories of such great devotees in our Shastric study, right? So some devotees may be playing very small roles in Krishna's pastimes, but they're really advanced devotees, right? So now this Brahmana who got this dream in Gopinath, he's not an ordinary person. This Brahmana also got Gopinathji in his dream. Means Gopinathji is speaking to this Brahmana in a dream, means he must be an exalted devotee, no doubt about it. Just like Gopalji spoke to Madhavendra Puri in his dream, Gopinathji spoke to this priest in his dream. Right? Both are exalted devotees. Okay. And this priest, Gopinathji's priest, without any envy, he came out and gave this pot of sweet rice to Madhavendra Puri. Okay. He says that Toma lagi Gopinatha Kshira Kaila Chudi. For your sake, Gopinathji has stolen this sweet rice. And since then, Gopinathji is called Kshir Chor Gopinath. Okay. So now somebody may have a doubt. Krishna, how can he steal? Of course, that's what he does in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada says that although Krishna is stealing, whatever God does is good. Okay. So whatever Krishna does is absolute in nature, all good and outside the jurisdiction of material world. Okay. So Krishna can be understood only by devotees who serve him and not by mundane moralists. So Lord Chaitanya never publicly discussed Krishna's dealings with the gopis. So Krishna's pastimes are divine, whether he steals or dances with the gopis or what he does. They're all divine pastimes. So Puri became very ecstatic. Prema Vishta. He was absorbed in love for Krishna. Oh, Krishna has stolen this sweet rice for me. He was having all kinds of ecstatic symptoms in his body. So he offered dandavats to the deity, and he offered dandavats to the pujari, and very gratefully, with deep humility, he accepted the pot of sweet rice, and he ate the sweet rice, washed the pot, and broke the pot. To do what? Not to throw. He would eat a piece of that pot also every day. That's a mud pot, earthen pot. He would eat little bit of that pot every day. Okay, because that's touched by Gopinath. Okay, so each day he would eat one piece, and Puri immediately wanted to run away from there. Why? He was thinking that this news that Gopinathji has stolen sweet rice for me would spread everywhere. So then what will happen? People will start glorifying me. So he doesn't want to be glorified. Out of his deep humility, he does not want to be glorified by anybody. Before this news spreads anywhere, let me just clear this place. Let me just go away from Ramana. So with that intention, he just left from there. Okay. So that's the nature of a humble devotee. He doesn't want any name, fame, and glories and reputation for himself. Right. So even if a devotee happens to be very reputed, devotee is not eager to enjoy that fame, enjoy that reputation, right? And he always transfers all the glories to Krishna, Guru, and Vaishnavas who helped him in being in devotional service, and engages all one's faculties in Krishna's seva. Okay, so in this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was narrating the story of Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri eventually reached Jagannath Puri. Okay, he was afraid of his reputation. Reputation in Sanskrit is called pratishtha. Pratishtha bhaya puri gyala palaya, Krishna preme pratishtha chale sangye gaya. So pratishtha bhaye puri gyala palaya. Out of fear of reputation, good reputation, our Madhavendra Puri just left from there. But Krishna Prema Pratishtha, the fame of being a lover of Krishna is the greatest fame, and that fame reached Jagannath Puri even before Madhavendra Puri reached Jagannath Puri. Okay, Madhavendra Puri, before even he reached Jagannath Puri, his fame reached Jagannath Puri. So the reputation brought by love of Godhead is so sublime that it goes along with the devotee as if following him, right? So it is also said that Pratishthanari Sadakumari means people who want to be reputed. So the goddess of reputation is not very much interested in them, right? But devotees, they don't want reputation, but the goddess of reputation runs behind that devotees. Okay, so Pratisthara Swabhavai Jagata Vidita Yena Vanchetarahaya Vidhata Nirmita. So very sweet shloka Kaviraj Goswami says, this is transcendental reputation. Pratisthara Swabhavai Jagata Vidita. So everybody knows that reputation which is caused by Krishna Prema or Krishna Bhakti is transcendental in nature. Okay, so when he came to Puri, people were already aware of his reputation and offered many respects to Madhavendra Puri in devotion. So good reputation follows the devotee. Pratishta. Now, here Prabhupada says that jealous people generally turn against the reputed person. But when doesn't desire fame out of humility, people give him all kinds of fame. Okay. If one is very greedy for reputation, people actually are not impressed with such a mentality. But if one is very humble and very modest and doesn't want any praise for himself, so people praise him even more. That's the nature of common people. So then Madhavendra Puri went to Jagannath Puri, and because all the people are already favorable to him, they readily gave all Chandan to him and gave an assistant also, and gave all kinds of government papers and official permission papers so that he can show it to tax collectors. All arrangements were made to him. So then Gopalji, then Madhavendra Puri again was going back to Gopalji's temple in Vrindavan. On the way, he came to Ramana again, and all the devotees in Ramana also very lovingly received Madhavendra Puri, and again gave him sweet rice. He ate the sweet rice. Okay, and Madhavendra Puri got his third dream. In this third dream, again Gopalji came into his dream and said that, thank you so much for bringing all this chandan all the way from Jagannath Puri to Ramana. You don't have to come all the way to Vrindavan. Apply all this chandan to Gopinathji, and I will be cooled. My body will be cooled there. So don't worry, just apply. Then Madhavendra Puri got up from his dream and he told all the pujaris of Gopinathji, and then got this chandan ground, and he also appointed some people, and Gopinathji was offered all chandan, and he's very happy. So Lord Gopalji felt that my devotee took so much of trouble to serve me, so let me reduce his burden. Of course, he doesn't feel that it is burden, but still Lord Gopalji felt that, okay, Madhavendra Puri need not come all the way to Vrindavan. Let him offer everything to Gopinathji only. So Gopinathji and Gopalji are not different. Okay, because Gopinathji was supplied all chandan wood pulp regularly. Okay, so at the end of summer, Madhavendra Puri returned from Jagannath Puri. Okay, so now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu narrated this whole story and praised Madhavendra Puri's devotion. Okay, so now Madhavendra Puri was so fortunate that Krishna personally appeared before him on the plea of giving milk, and 3 times he appeared in his dreams. Okay, and he even stole, Gopinathji stole even the milk pot, kheer pot for him. And Mahaprabhu says that Gopinathji's name became Kshirchor Gopinath because of this devotee. Actually, the Lord loves to be addressed in connection with other devotees. He's Radha Raman, Radha Gopinath, Yashoda Nandan, Nanda Nandan, Devaki Nandan, Vasudeva. Then here Kshirchor Gopinath, Partha Sarathi, Partha Sakhat. So these are the names of the Lord. So the Lord is very merciful. Mahadaya Maya Prabhu Bhakta Vatsala, Chandanapari Bhakta Shrama Kaila Safala. So Chandanapari Bhakta Shrama. Shrama is endeavor, labor. So noticing that my devotee has done a hard labor to bring chandan all the way from Jagannath Puri, the Lord became so merciful. He is Bhakta Vatsala. So he accepted all the chandan on the way itself. Madhavendra Puri need not come all the way to Vrindavan. Okay. So Purira Prema Parakashtakaraha Vichar Alaukika Prema Chitte Lage Chamatkar. So just consider the greatness of Madhavendra Puri's love. Purira Prema Parakashtakaraha Vichar Alaukika Prema Chitte Lage Chamatkar. This is Alaukika Prema, transcendental love, uncommon love. So you will be wondered, Chamatkar, to hear his activities. So feeling separation from Krishna and engaging in his service to fulfill his mission constitute the best example of love for Krishna. So I was just discussing in the Bhagavad Gita for children course just an hour back. So love, bhakti, is not just an emotion. Bhakti is an action associated with emotion. Some child asked, what is the difference between bhakti and seva? So bhakti is translated as devotional service. So if there is bhakti, automatically one will do seva. That's why Prabhupada does not translate bhakti as devotion. He translates bhakti as devotional service. Okay. So now Madhavendra Puri rendered a lot of service to Krishna out of love. That's why it is devotional service, not just devotion. So if one has devotion, one will naturally do service. So Madhavendra Puri was completely renounced, Paramavirakta, always silent, he's Mauni. So Gramya Varta Bhaye Dvitiya Sangahina. So he is without any companion, means he doesn't take any material association, and he's freed from all mundane talks, right? So like that, Madhavendra Puri carried so much of chandan for the Lord, right? It's about 37 kilos of sandalwood and 20 tulas. One tula is about 230 grams. So 20 tulas means 2,300 grams, okay, or 2.3 kilos of camphor. So about 40 kilos of load he was carrying alone, all the way from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. I think he got one assistant also. So like that he was carrying, right, by walk. So that's the nature of Pragadha Prema. Pragadha Prema Rai Swabhava Achar Nija Dukha Vignadira Nakare Vichar. So when there is Pragadha Prema, when there is intense love, uh, devotees do not consider how much labor that they are doing. They only think how much I can serve Krishna. Okay. So Pragadha Prema Rai Swabhava Achar. So this is the natural characteristic of deep love, intense love. Nija Dukha Vignadhira Nakare Vichar. So they don't consider what is difficulty, what is impediment, what are inconveniences, what are scarcities. So they don't consider all that, because in any service we encounter difficulty, scarcity, inconveniences, all these things. But if we have Pragadha Prema, if we have intense love for the Lord, we don't consider them. We look forward for the opportunity for the service. Ye bhakta, ye bhakti, bhakta priya Krishna vyavahar, bhujiteo ama sabara nahi adhikar. So, to test the intense love of Madhavendra Puri, Gopalji ordered him to bring sandalwood from Nilachal. And when Madhavendra Puri passed the test, the Lord became very merciful. Okay. So the Lord also tests his devotees. Of course, he knows the devotee loves him so much, but sometimes the Lord tests the devotee so that he can relish the love of the devotee, and he can announce the greatness of the devotee's love to the entire world. That's how the Lord tests his devotees, right? So that's the intense love exhibited by Madhavendra Puri. Bahu parishrama chandana remuna aila, ananda badila mane dukkha naganila. So Bahu parishrama. So Madhavendra Puri has undergone a lot of difficulty, but still, ananda badaila mane. His heart became so happy. Dukkha naganila. He did not count the distress. Pariksha karite gopala kaila agnadan. Pariksha kariya seshe haila dayavan. So this is how the Lord tests all his devotees, right? So now Madhavendra Puri repeatedly used to recite one verse, Ai Dina Dayatra Natha He Mathura Natha Kadavalokyasi. So in separation from Krishna, in deep love for Krishna, Madhavendra Puri recites this shloka, and that's how he perfected his life. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu narrated this entire story to all the devotees, and then he departed for Puri. He continued his journey along with Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. So now in this way, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu personally tasted with his own mouth the transcendental qualities of Gopalji, Gopinathji, and Madhavendra Puri. Here, one Lord Gopalji came in the dream of Madhavendra Puri 3 times. Another Lord Gopinathji stole that pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. Another Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, narrated this nectarian pastime. Now 3 lords, the Lord in 3 forms, appreciating and glorifying Madhavendra Puri. Can you just imagine how blessed is Madhavendra Puri? Such is the greatness of pure devotees of the Lord. So that completes the 4th chapter, and there are many more insights in this chapter. So I just narrated the story. We don't have so much time. So Mahaprabhu just continued his journey, and Mahaprabhu eventually arrived at a place called Katak. Okay, he went to Yajipur, and from Yajipur he went to Katak. So now I'm speaking the 5th chapter of Caitanya-caritamrita, Madhyalila. So they eventually reached this place called Sakshi Gopal temple. So when they reached Sakshi Gopal temple at Cuttack, Nityananda Prabhu started speaking Sakshi Gopal story. Okay. So this is a very popular story which you all know. So that is the story of young Brahmana and old Brahmana, but I'll quickly narrate it. So two Brahmanas, they went for a pilgrimage. Okay. Formerly at Vidyanagar in South India, these two Brahmanas were there. So they went for a long pilgrimage. They visited Gaya, Kashi, Prayaga, Mathura, and all the forests of Vrindavan. And finally, they came to Govardhan hill, and also they took bath in Keshi Ghat, Kalya Ghat, and they stayed there for a while. And these two Brahmanas, one is very young and one is very old. So this young Brahmana used to assist this old Brahmana always. Okay, the old Brahmana promised, "I am very happy with your service. Actually, this pilgrimage, this whole yatra became so ecstatic and memorable and comfortable because of your assistance, my dear young Brahmana. As reciprocation with your loving service, I would like to offer my daughter in marriage to you." Then the young Brahmana refused. "Sir, this is unusual. You are very aristocratic. You are well educated. You are rich. I am not aristocratic. So I am not a suitable husband for your daughter. So I serve you because there is an important reason. When great Brahmanas and devotees like you are served, Krishna feels happy. Right? Kanyadana patra aminahai tomar Krishna pritya kari tomar seva vyavahar." So I am not qualified, Krishna. I am not a qualified bridegroom for your daughter. Krishna pritya kari tomar seva vyavahar. I just rendered service to you to please Krishna, because Krishna will be pleased when there is service to his devotees. So when devotees are rendered service, Krishna becomes very pleased. That's the only reason why I rendered so much service to you. I have absolutely no intention or no desire to marry your daughter, oh Brahmana. So please don't tempt me like this. Brahmana sevaya Krishnera priti badahai, tahara santoshe bhakti sampada badai. So when somebody does Brahmana seva, Krishna priti will increase. So by rendering services to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the Lord's happiness will increase. Tahara santoshe bhakti sampada badai. And one can increase the treasure of one's love for Krishna. Bhakti sampada. Sampada means wealth. Our real wealth is not rupees and dollars. Our real wealth is bhakti. Bhakti sampada badai. So we can increase our bhakti sampada by rendering service to Krishna. Service to Krishna's devotees. So these four opulences, like Kunti Maharani says, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shri Bher Edhamana Kuman Naivarhatya Vidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. This high birth, high education, beauty, riches, they're all symptoms of one's punya karmas performed in past life, right? So an aristocratic family never considers a marriage with a common family. When somebody has good Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, they always want to have marriage ties with other people who also have this four, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. So here this Brahmana, old Brahmana is aristocratic, educated, but young Brahmana is not like that. So this marriage cannot take place. But here, why this kind of pastime is presented in Caitanya-caritamrita? Because this young Brahmana and old Brahmana both are two pure Vaishnavas. Okay, it's not just a marriage story. Okay, why the Lord becomes as a witness for somebody's marriage? It's not just a marriage story. It is a deity story. It is a Vaishnava devotee story. Okay, so it's a story of devotees. Because the young Brahmana served the old Brahmana for the purpose of pleasing Krishna. It is Vaishnava Seva done in Dham. Right? So here you see there is Dham Seva happening. There is Vaishnava Seva happening. There is a lot of faith in the deities. So all these three things are exhibited in this beautiful pastime. Right? One should not consider this pastime very ordinary. Okay. So this young Brahmana want to marry and Krishna came as witness. So So people may not consider it very exciting sometimes. So old Brahmana said, don't doubt me. I have already decided to give my daughter in marriage to you. Young Brahmana said, okay, fine. At least consult with your family members. Then old Brahmana said, no, no, my daughter is my property. I don't have to consult with anyone. Okay. Then old Brahmana said, young Brahmana said, okay, then say that before the deity of Gopal. Then, of course, why not? Old Brahmana went in front of the Gopal deity and then said, you are the witness, you are the Sakshi Gopal. I have given my daughter to this boy. Okay, he promised before the deity. So, when promise is spoken in front of a deity, it cannot be taken back because no one would dare to lie before a deity. It cannot be cancelled. One cannot take it back. So, Vagdatta means father, brother, or guardian of a girl can promise the hand of the girl to another virtuous boy. So they are considered honest words. So the young Brahmana said to Gopal, my dear Gopal, you are the witness. Thakura, tumi mora sakshi. Okay, you are my witness. Of course, Krishna is witness. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa saranam suhar. Okay, so I shall call you to testify if it is necessary later. Okay, Toma sakshi bolaimu yadi anyatha dekhi. Okay, in future I have some kind of doubts in this whole marriage transaction, but if needed, I will call you back. Okay, so the Lord agreed. So within heart only. So then old Brahmana came back from the pilgrimage and he disclosed this matter to his family members. And naturally, family members did not agree. They said that don't make jokes. Okay, no, I'm not joking. I want to give my daughter in marriage to this boy. He's very nice. Then the relatives start threatening him. How can you do such a promise? Right? We will all commit suicide. And the Brahmana said, how can I undo such a promise? I have made it in a holy place. So then we will take poison and die. They kind of threatened this old Brahmana. And the old Brahmana said, if you do not give my daughter to young Brahmana, he will call Gopalji as witness. Then the son of this old Brahmana, although he was a son of great Vaishnava, he's an atheistic person. Prabhupada says he's atheistic. Oh, Gopalji is the witness. Okay, let Gopalji come and bear witness. Then we can give. Anyways, Gopalji cannot come. Okay. So he confidently suggested, okay, let the deity be witness. And old Brahmana never intended to speak a lie. He never wanted to withdraw his promise, but still he was obliged to his family members. Because if he goes against the will of these family members, they were threatening him, we will take poison and we will die. So should I see my family members die or should I stick to the word given to this young Brahmana? He was in a dilemma. So then the young Brahmana came the next day and spoke humbly. You said something in Vrindavan? What happened? Then suddenly the old Brahmana's son came with a stick and said, you degraded and poor Brahmana, illiterate Brahmana, you want my sister? You want to marry my sister? Just like a dwarf trying to catch moon? Are you qualified for it? So seeing the stick, the young Brahmana fled. But the next day he gathered some villagers and then brought in front of this old Brahmana's house, and there was a big meeting there. So then the old Brahmana's son started speaking so many lies. While on pilgrimage, this person has stolen the money of my father. He gave him some datura to eat. So like that he spoke so many lies. And then this simple and faithful young Brahmana narrated the whole incident. But how can people believe that? Generally, people believe very aristocratic, wealthy people. They cannot put so much trust on illiterate or poor people. That's the nature of this world. And the Brahmana said, okay, fine. None of you are believing me. I will bring Gopalji as witness. Okay. Then people were astonished. You will bring Gopalji deity as witness? Yes, I will bring Gopalji as witness. Because I told him that I expected that something like this will happen. I told Gopalji that I will bring him as witness if needed. So I will go and get him. Then immediately the old Brahmana's son came forward and said that, okay, fine, I agree. I agree to this proposal. If the deity comes and bears witness, then I will give my sister in marriage to him. And old Brahmana has been silent throughout. Okay. He's helpless. So Now, young Brahmana said, okay, let's write this agreement. Let this person sign. I will sign. And all of you, some elderly people also come and sign here. So there should be a written agreement. Okay. After all, this is Kali Yuga. Again, they may take back words. So let's have the signed agreement. Then they signed, and the young Brahmana was very confident. Okay, we can sign. Absolutely no problem. Okay. So the qualification of this young Brahmana is, although he's not aristocratic, although he's not educated, he believed that Krishna was the topmost authority, right? So in front of Krishna, a vow has been taken. It cannot be taken back. So, and if needed, Krishna will come and testify my words also. So he had so much faith in the deity. So he accepted the Lord's words without hesitation, and he had firm faith in the Lord's consistency. So old Brahmana calls the young Brahmana. So then Krishna knows everyone's desire, request, and prayer. Very important. Here, old Brahmana never wanted to cheat the young Brahmana. He's very genuine. But he was threatened that his family members might commit suicide. That's what he was worried about. And young Brahmana never had greed for the money of old Brahmana or for the daughter of old Brahmana. Right? He was not having sense gratificatory desires. So here, both of them are genuine, very genuine people. So the Lord understands their desires, understands their requests. And even young Brahmana was concerned that this old Brahmana was unnecessarily being put into trouble by his family members. So how can this old Brahmana's words become untrue? He's a Brahmana. He gave a promise in front of the deities. So young Brahmana's whole endeavor was not to get a beautiful wife, from a aristocratic family. Young Brahmana's whole endeavor was to make the words of the old Brahmana true. Let the old Brahmana not get the blemish of giving a false and fake promise. Let him not get the reaction of not fulfilling his promise, which he has made in front of the deity in a holy dham. That's the endeavor of young Brahmana. He is completely selfless in his endeavors. So young Brahmana just went to Vrindavan. Okay. And he said, my dear Lord, this is what has happened. Now you should come and bear witness. Right? Eta jani tumi sakshi deha daya mai. Jani sakshi nahi deya tara papa hai. So, my dear Lord, so I knew this. That's why I told you to become my sakshi. Okay. So please come and bear witness. So these are the simple dealings of devotees in the Lord. There is no possibility of Lords being involved in any sinful activities. When a pure devotee, though he knows everything of the Supreme Lord, can speak with him exactly as if he were a common man. Means this young Brahmana knows that he is speaking to the Supreme Lord, okay, Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he's speaking as if he is speaking to another ordinary person. Right? Krishna, I have some problem, you should come and bear witness. That's the simplicity of his heart. That's the faith and love and affection that he had. That's the intimacy that he had developed with Krishna. He can even ask Krishna, Krishna, come, you should bear witness for my marriage. Right? So that's the greatness of this young Brahmana. So the faith that one could have, the extent of faith that one could have on the deities is very wonderfully demonstrated in this incident. So Krishna said that go back and call meeting of all the men. Okay, I shall appear to protect the honor of both you Brahmanas by bearing witness. Okay, so the young Brahmana said that even if you appear there as a four-handed Vishnu deity, still none of them would believe in your words. Only if you come there in the form of Gopalji, okay, your testimony will be heard by them. So I want you to come there. Okay. So Krishna said, I have never heard. I'm Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know everything, right? But I have never heard that deities walk. Then Brahmana said, oh, true, deities don't walk, but deities don't talk also. We are talking now. If you can talk, you can walk also. Okay. So that was his faith. And he also said, don't say you're a deity. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Vrajendra Nandan, Vipralagi kara tumi akarya karan. So Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. You are not a deity, you are not a statue. You are Sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. It's a very, very important statement made by this young Brahmana out of his simplicity of his devotion. He said, you are standing in temple, you are not a Pratima. You are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's how we should treat the deities. Deities are not some forms made of stone or brass or paint or something like that. When a deity is installed in a temple by a pure devotee according to the prescribed rituals of installation, prana pratishtha, that deity is not a deity anymore. The deity is Krishna himself. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. So Gopalji smiled. Prabhupada, when you hear Prabhupada's lecture on this pastime, Prabhupada smiles also in his lecture, and he says that, see, Krishna is defeated by this young Brahmana with logic. Who can be a greater logician than Krishna? Okay, but sometimes devotees can defeat Krishna in logic. Okay. So Krishna cannot defeat. He smiled and then he followed this boy, this Brahmana. So now Archamurti, just as sun can act through the sunshine and distribute its heat and light, so Krishna, by his inconceivable power, can appear in his original spiritual form in any material element, like stone, wood, paint, etc. So when Krishna can appear in the form of a deity also. So now Gopalji said, okay, fine, I'll follow you. You should not look back. Every day you should cook 1 kilo of rice and then give me. I will eat that. Okay, you should not look back. I will just follow you. And you can be assured that I am following you because you will be hearing my ankle bell sound. Okay, so Krishna's ankle bells make sound. Okay, so you can hear that and then proceed. Then Krishna followed him. Gopalji followed him, and finally, this Brahmana came to Vidyanagar, and Krishna spoke witness. Okay, this is a little long story. I'm just summarizing. So Sakshi Gopal bore witness, and then suddenly this old Brahmana was overwhelmed with devotion and love, and he had tears in his eyes. He fell flat at the feet of Sakshi Gopal. And also young Brahmana also fell at the feet of Sakshi Gopal, and that atheistic son's mind got transformed, and all the devotees became, and they wondered, right? Let me show the picture. So now the devotees requested that you please stay here only. Okay, this Sakshi Gopal came to perform, came to give Sakshi, and all the villagers were completely astonished. So next, after the marriage, Gopalji informed both the Brahmanas, "You are my eternal servants, birth after birth. I am pleased by your truthfulness. Now you can ask for any benediction." Okay. The Brahmanas requested Gopal, "Please remain here so that people all over the world will know how merciful you are to your servants." Okay. You will be known as Sakshi Gopal. So Gopalji stayed in Vidyanagar, and there is King Purushottam Dev of Orissa. So later in a fight conquered over King of Vidyanagar and took possession of his throne. And he presented that Manikya Simhasan to Jagannath at Puri. Then Gopalji, Purushottam Dev was a great devotee and an Aryan, and he begged Gopal to come to his kingdom. Okay. Then he took Gopalji D2 to Cuttack and established regular worship from there. From Vidyanagar, Gopalji came to Cuttack in reciprocation with Purushottam Dev's devotion. And his queen, Purushottam Dev's queen, presented various ornaments to Gopalji and wished to give a valuable pearl, okay, that she wore on her nose. So that pearl she wanted to give to Gopalji. And but the point is, does Gopalji have a hole in his nose to fix this pearl? So then that night in a dream, Gopalji spoke to the queen that his mother had made a hole in his nose in the childhood to set the pearl, and the queen can give that nose pearl to Gopalji according to her desire. And the queen explained this to the king, and then that nose ring was offered to Gopalji. So, and now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his party, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda, all of them discussed this Sakshi Gopal story at this temple, and Mahaprabhu and his devotees proceeded from there. And on the way, Nityananda Prabhu broke the sannyas danda of Lord Caitanya. So Lord Caitanya arrived at Kamalapur, and he wanted to take bath in that Bhagirathi river. So he gave that sannyas danda to Lord Nityananda, and he entered the river to take bath. So meanwhile, Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda into 3 parts and then threw it in the river. Okay. And Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda because he thought that Mahaprabhu need not follow these protocols of sannyasi. So when seeing Jagannath Ji temple from a distant place, Mahaprabhu became ecstatic, and he said, "Oh, where is my danda?" And Nityananda Prabhu said, "You were doing kirtan, and you became so ecstatic, and you fell down on the danda, and the danda broke into 3 pieces. I don't know where are the pieces." And Mahaprabhu said, "I am a sannyasi. I have no property except the danda. You have broken the danda also. Can't you keep that one staff safely?" Okay. So the Lord asked for that one danda, and Nityananda Prabhu broke it into pieces. So Mahaprabhu became angry. "I will not travel with you. I will go alone." So he went ahead alone. So in this, and Mukunda Datta actually proposed. Mukunda Datta said, "My dear Lord, you should go ahead and allow all the others to follow." And the Lord walked swiftly, and the other people just were walking slowly. So this is Danda Bhanga Lila is very deep. Okay. So these are 2 pastimes. It's 8:24 now. I have only 6 minutes. So in 6 minutes, I cannot complete 6th chapter. It's very long. So I'll keep it for next Monday. So today we discussed 2 wonderful pastimes. That is Madhavendra Puri's pastime and Sakshi Gopal's pastime. In both of these pastimes, we see the reciprocation of the deities with the devotees. If only we have faith and devotion to Krishna, so Krishna can reciprocate with all his devotees in any form. So we should have that faith and dedication in deity worship also. Now, Madhavendra Puri is the first person. Madhavendra Puri's pastime is described in this shloka with Gopalji and Gopinathji in the center. So Madhavendra Puri was the first person in this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya to manifest, to exhibit feelings of love of Godhead in separation, in the mood of separation. So he's a very special personality, and from there, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu picked it up. So Madhavendra Puri had very nice shlokas. He is not very much into the external formalities and Vedic rituals. He is more into loving the Lord in the mode of separation. So there's one beautiful shloka about Madhavendra Puri. Sandhya vandana bhadramastu bhavato bhosnana tubhyam namo bho deva pitarascha tarpana vidho naha kshamah kshamyatam yatra kvapi nishadhyayada vakulottam sasyakam sadvisha smaram smaramagham harami tadalam manye ki manye name. So the shloka says that Sandhya vandana bhadramastu bhavato. Oh, Sandhya vandan bhadramastu bhavato. Let there be auspiciousness unto you. Means I don't want to do Sandhya vandan. I cannot do. Okay. Bhadramastu bhavato. Bho snana tubhyam namo. Brahmanas have to take bath 3 times in a day, etc., etc. Tubhyam namo. I offer my dandavats to you. I cannot follow you. Okay. Bho deva pitarascha tarpana vidho naha kshamah kshamyatam. Pitarascha tarpana, offering oblations to Pitara, means forefathers. I cannot follow these rules and regulations also anymore. Keep it aside. Okay. So naha kshamah kshamyatam. Kshamta nahi. Kshama karo. Means just forgive me. I don't have the capacity to follow all these rituals. Right? Yatra kvapi nishadhyayada vakulottam sasyakam sadvisha smaram smaramagham harami tadalam manye ki manye name. Means he says that I don't have to follow all these rules and regulations because I dedicated my mind and heart and words and soul and my entire life for the service of Krishna. By remembering that Krishna, by remembering that Krishna who has killed Kamsa, I can come out of all my sinful reactions. Smaram, smaram, agham harami tadalam, manye ki manye, what is used for anything else? So Madhavendra Puri is such an exalted devotee who received such personal reciprocation from the deities, and he gives importance to only substantial devotional activities and not some Vedic rituals and pious karmas, right? So Madhavendra Puri's devotion is very deep. And coming to this Sakshi Gopal pastime, where we hear the stories of young Brahmana and old Brahmana, they're also not ordinary personalities. They had full faith and conviction in the divinity of the deity forms of Krishna. So our faith in the whole process of deity worship can be rejuvenated by hearing these kinds of pastimes. So one should not neglect, one should not be neglectful in deity worship and deity darshan, because deities are non-different from Krishna. These two beautiful pastimes demonstrate the glory of deities. So with these words, I'll conclude today's session. So next week, Monday, we will try to go at a little faster pace. So 6th, 7th, and 8th chapters I'll try to cover. It is very deep, but let's see. I could do only 2 chapters today. So thank you. Sri Caitanya-caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.